I guess I might as well practice, huh? That's right.
Are you incoming chair?
I'm incoming vice chair.
Okay.
So Ian will be the chair. So this is called.
Yes.
George Riley will be 15 minutes late. Kate Daniels, he's present, and Rebecca Lindor present. Okay, we have
a quorum.
yes, we have a quorum. Are there any additions or corrections to the agenda? Not from me. No, not from me either. Okay, and public comments? Items? We have members of the public in attendance. All right, perfect. So let's move to item number 1, the adoption of the November 10, 2025 committee meeting minutes.
So,
Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say so moved, but I realized we didn't do public comment or anything like that. There's nobody in the public.
But I do have one correction. The committee was absent. I was not here because I think I was in physical therapy that day.
But your alternate was Karen, or is it all of our alternate Karen?
She was, and it was Karen.
Yes, the alternate. Okay, thank you. I'll make that
Perfect.
change.
So any public comments?
We have no members of the public present.
Okay, so Kate,
I will to approve the draft minutes from the Finance and Administration Committee on November 10th.
okay, I'll second it. And let's go to, I'm sorry.
Don't need to vote. Let me ask real quick if I may. There is something that I've been where they'll say approved by, like Rebecca would just say, what's it called, consensus? Can you say something? Could she just say approved by consensus?
Because it's just the two, you can, but since you don't have to do a roll call vote, it's just as easy to say all those in favor, aye.
Perfect. Perfect. No, I'm thinking of 2 people meetings that I've been in, but okay, great. Perfect.
Yeah.
So it has been seconded to accept the Finance Administration Committee and adopt the minutes by motion. Approved, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. So carried. All right. Action item number 2. The adoption of the treasurer's report.
Yes, good afternoon, committee members and directors. I'll be going over the next few items. As you can see, this is a abbreviated agenda compared to some of the previous ones that we had. And that's because we took care of some of the more demanding items, such as the annual comprehensive financial report before. So let me get into this presentation. Okay. And there was a time when we didn't provide this visual, but I think it's useful. So I will see corporate taxes in the first 2 columns, and that just shows the amount of fee deposits that we received. We received about 3.35 million in fees and deposits and made disbursements of about 3.4 million. And here you can see our cash flow management in action. We are trying to kind of balance out the amount of funds coming in and funds going out. And that helps us to not tap into our investment accounts. And those balances are right here. So between our cash and investment accounts, we have stayed at around 31.6 to 31.8 million for the month of October. And disbursements were higher than usual because this includes purchase of water for 2 months, September and August. And I believe for the month of August, we purchased around 350 acre feet, and for September, about 244 acre feet. And our amount of water purchases is going to go as the Clearwater Montclair expansion project kicks in. So in November, we received about 500 acre feet, and this is going to ramp up until we hit the grower season, I believe, and then so it seems like we're on the right track. We also made rebate payments about 28,000. This is also for 2 months, And a detailed listing of these cash and, the disbursements is in Exhibit B of the staff report. And then the statement of revenues and expenses is in Exhibit C. So that's my short report in October.
Okay, any comments?
I do not have any questions.
Any public comments?
No, we have no members present.
Okay, is there a motion to accept the minutes?
Let me make a motion to adopt the treasurer's report for October 2025.
Second. Any oppositions?
Aye.
Is carried. Item number 3, I think you're still on, Michelle.
Yes, this is our annual disclosure report that's required as per the government code section, which is stated in the staff report. And as a public agency, we're required to report any reimbursements made to employees or board members, anything above, I think, $100 per person. So this is all we have for the preceding fiscal year. And nothing out of the ordinary here. We have trainings, conferences, meetings, employee reimbursements, and the total reimbursements were less than $5,000 in total. And we're just trying to follow government code and provide this information to the public. That's
Oops. Any comments, Kate?
None from me, thank you very much.
From the public? Is there anybody even here participating?
We have no members present, and if we do, we will hear like a doorbell.
Oh, there you go.
Okay.
I'll keep asking just with
Just for fun, if I could ask what the Water Smart Conference is. I guess just because I was curious with the title.
I think the Water Demand Division would be able to provide the best answer.
It's more of a conservation type of conference. That's been going on for quite a while.
Okay.
There's another one in, I believe, August. Springs down by Palm Desert, because that's where I want to be in August.
And it comes with, oh gosh, no, where there's no water.
I'm going to teach about water government.
Yeah.
Since there's no comments from the public, we'll take a vote.
That we accept the disclosure statement of employee board reimbursements for 24-25.
And seconds, all in favor?
Aye.
Right, and Michelle, I think you're number 3.
Okay. This is a fun one because we don't get these reports that often.
Mm-hmm.
And the district is recommending purchase of 2 vehicles. And we have these 2 vehicles that you see here. These need to be replaced. The first one is a 2003 Dodge Ram. It's sitting in our parking lot like a dead weight. Can't be operated. Failed battery, among other things. And the second one is 2010 Honda Insight. It's an EV that's being used by the Water Demand Division mostly for inspections. And the idea is to replace these vehicles, but also look at our district needs like holistically. So the first vehicle is being used by the Environmental Division and the second by the Water Demand Division. And our needs are, at this point, we like a vehicle that can take us from here to Sacramento, especially when, the general manager of the AGM is going to meet, the Department of Drinking Water folks or the State Water Resources Control Board folks. And so we wanted a vehicle that can take us from here to there in one tank of gas. And so it was ruled out. So we looked at gasoline options and hybrid options. And then for the second one, the Water Demand Division did some creative thinking, and they wanted something that could transport both equipment and people, especially when they have conservation events. They have these conservation devices which they show to the public. So they wanted something that can transport that. So we looked at a possibility getting a van, but then that van couldn't be used for inspections. So we kind of narrowed it down to multi-purpose vehicles, which would be 5-seater SUVs for both. And then we started looking at what's the best way to procure it, because as a public agency, we would like to do this, do some sort of competitive solicitation. But then there are technical requirements and performance specifications. So we decided to piggyback on the state contract, which is issued by the Department of General Services, I believe. And they do all of this exercise, and local agencies can kind of tap into that contract and use the same specifications. So they use the scoring criteria to come up with these vehicles and manufacturers. And then we looked at what was being provided by the state contract, and they had a number of SUVs. For our purposes, we came up with criteria so that, we have followed an objective process ourselves. So obviously, the number one criteria was elimination of range anxiety. Like if you're in a when do I need to get to the next EV station? So the second one was versatility. Transporting trips and equipment. The third one was low maintenance costs and a reasonable purchase price. And the Toyota RAV4 seems to fit that bill. When most of these RAV4s can go up to 200 to 250,000 miles. And it's a very durable vehicle. It has good customer service ratings. And plus, its driving range is around 550 miles. And if we piggyback on this contract, it also has other considerations besides performance, like environmental considerations and a maintenance plan. So we get the benefit of all of that. And so our recommendation is to get two Toyota RAV4s through the state contract, which is competitively bid. And, we get the benefits of price, fuel economy, durability, low maintenance, and we get to tack on to the maintenance plan that the contract provides. And just as an interesting piece of information, this is outside of the recommendation. The other day, there was a Cal-Am vehicle outside, and I was curious, and I looked at the door, I'm like, which vehicle is it? And it turned out to be a white Toyota RAV4. So if in future, if our organizations were to join, then, we would have compatible vehicles. We are recommending the 2026 model, and that model pricing isn't in yet, but we have received a quote from the dealer for 2026 pricing based on the 2025 pricing that's in the contract. So we are recommending getting two Toyota RAV4s for the district. And I think it would be a good investment for the district as a whole to get these vehicles using the state contract. What's the dealer quote? The dealer quote, I think it's $37,000.
$37,100 and I think 11 cents.
Okay, perfect. You got it. Because we looked at this pricing from some of the local dealers and it was much higher.
So a question, there was $55,000 and there is $55,000 in the budget for the replacing of the Dodge Ram.
That's correct. We put in $55,000 for replacing one vehicle. Now, if we were to buy two vehicles, then we would need to increase the budget
By $19,380.
Exactly.
That's not that I do math in my head.
Yeah, no, you got it all. So that's also part of the recommendation.
Okay.
Yes.
I just wanted to make sure that was part of it. Any questions?
How are we ever buy outside of the state system?
Great question.
Sometimes you can get, if you have a local contract or that, it can be in this, they call it the, next door they had this contract. It's kind of like a state contract, but it's kind of a purchasing contract. You know what I'm talking about?
Cooperative purchasing contracts.
Yeah. And so sometimes they may have a dealer that is in that qualify for that. But a lot of times, the person in hand.
It may have a local dealer that qualifies for that.
Yeah.
But you want to go with the lowest price that you can. In the state contract, they usually have a lot.
And you buy a new vehicle too. I mean, so it's not like you're going downhill very far.
There are a variety of agencies out there that participate in cooperative purchasing. There's Omnia, there's NASPO, National Association of, and then there's the state contract, and then there are a few others. Not all of them provide vehicles. This was the best, this seemed like the best fit for us. And, the cost to transport a vehicle, even if it's from a dealer that's not within the area, isn't that much. So I think it's a win-win. Not only in terms of price, but also all the performance specifications, environmental considerations, maintenance plans. That's all kind of baked into this. And if they have the right vehicle for our needs, it definitely makes sense to kind of use them.
It seems to me this question might be asked every time you need a new vehicle. Okay, sorry, I'm late then.
That's okay.
So who's running the meeting?
So if I would just ask one question, the difference between the 26 and the 25 RAV4s was the $1,214?
Yeah, that's still 1,200.
Okay.
And this is a purchase, not a lease.
This is a purchase. The vehicle would belong to us.
Okay.
There is a long lead time associated with getting these vehicles. This is such a popular vehicle to have. And so if we place the order now, we might get it in August or September of next year. The other option is to wait till the middle of next calendar year to wait for the 2026 pricing, but then we are out by another year. That's why the recommendation is to go with the current quote, or if we get the 2026 quote by the next month or two, then we could consider it. If not, we'll go with what we have and put in an order right now.
Okay.
And this item is a recommendation to the full board? Okay.
I think it will be on the consent calendar.
Any other questions? I didn't hear a doorbell, but are there any public comments?
Okay. While the presentation is up, let's see. I see no members of the public.
So we can put this to a vote.
Yeah, make a motion that we recommend to the board to authorize the contract with Freeway Toyota of Hanford for the purchase of 2 Toyota RAV4s.
Second.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
It's carried. And I think there's one more, item 5.
I think that might be informational.
Yeah,
Items 5 and 6.
Yeah, it looks informational.
it looks informational. Okay, so director's reports.
Next is review of the agenda.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. That's what this is.
We do have a slightly revised agenda that's
coming around.
distributed, yes.
If I could ask a question about the agenda. And this is selfish because I believe this is coming to me tomorrow at the Board of Supervisors. So I just would like some background. But since it's coming here as well, can you explain just what I is the memorandum of understanding monitoring plan for the deep aquifers? Sorry.
It's just we've been working with the Water Resource Agency, Marina Coast, the Salinas Valley GSA, and the Seaside Water Master, just to kind of let everybody be able to share data in regards to the information that they are acquiring within their realm of jurisdiction, and then coordinate with each other. And, it's gone back and forth between all the different legal teams to get the wording just right. And so I think everybody has an understanding, trying to work together to have a better understanding of what the deep aquifer is and the monitoring is.
So this is the final MOU that's been agreed upon and each of the boards have to just sign off on it.
Yeah, and it's going around making the rounds.
Okay, yeah, I saw it. I've not done my prep yet, but
Let's piggyback on that same thing. Have these 5 agencies ever agreed on a thing? But this could be first. That's why I'm wondering, but I don't think the district has been involved in a lot of things in the valley. I mean,
Mainly, this is just a coordination of like what's going on in the Seaside Water Basin. Because a lot of the information that we have is in the deep aquifer, and then, that would be submitted over to the Water Resource Agency, who's looking at the deep aquifer over there to see if there's any kind of correlation and just get some more informed decisions.
It was fantastic with sharing data. I mean, that's terrific. I'm just surprised.
Can you elaborate on Genesis?
I think it's probably started in Salinas Valley.
Okay.
They're looking at the deep aquifer and the amount of permits that they're getting. And, obviously Marina Coast has wells in the deep aquifer over there. The Seaside Groundwater Basin, you get most of our water is deep aquifer. And so there is some connection, like hydrologically, hydraulically. And so they're just trying to coordinate, if we're adjudicated, is this basin sustainable and safe yield? How's that being, if there's across a political divide or whatever it is, and how it can relate to the Salinas Valley as well.
Okay, so in terms of action items, they're all items. Okay. The public hearing on the agenda is just the adoption of the water supply strategy budget, which is an public hearing. Action items 10, 11, and 12. Okay. Looks pretty easy.
Before you do item 10, the 5 agencies, name them again. Is Mr. one of them? I can't remember. Yes, it is. Okay, that's my point. Good. They need to.
And to be honest, the Water Management District provides most of that information for the Water Master. So, we're just providing information that we already give to the Water Master, just to be able to share it with the other entities. And all of it's public anyway, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, good. Thank you. Thanks for bringing it up.
Any other questions?
Well, I apologize that we skipped over item 7, so we can return to that after the agenda.
Yeah.
I just wanted to point out that Director Delane will be participating via Zoom for Monday's meeting. And her address has been posted on the agenda.
I'm sorry, what? Lane. Yes, sorry. Okay. For next Monday.
Yes.
And I'm sorry, I'm not seeing item 7 in mine. What is item 7?
It's a verbal. We'll be doing one of the board with number 15 meeting next month. The board know I will not be able to attend. I have a personal conflict, but Lorena will. Save my annual really difficult question. You got to practice from sitting in the seat.
We're not trying to go along.
I'm sorry that I just had a time.
So even one on any comments or questions? Is there a motion?
Motion to move the,
Motion?
No.
Just read. So yes, all right, let's jump back to, did we hit item 6, the status report on the public ownership of monitoring water system? But did somebody have a report plan?
Items 5 and 6 are pure information. We usually don't provide a one report.
So item number 7, agenda management solutions, a verbal report.
Yes, there's no recommendation for this item, but we wanted to keep the committee apprised of what the staff was doing. And in the last few months, Sarah and I have looked at a few agenda management solutions and softwares out there. And these are some of the companies that we looked at: Granicus, Civic Plus, Onboard, and we'll be looking at the 4th one, Streamline, next week. Granicus and Civic Plus are the 2 big players in this space. And right now, our process is very manual. Sarah does everything, manually. The benefit of having a solution like this is, number one, it saves time. And there's a chain of approvals that is built into the process itself. And also, the end user sees a more intuitive user interface. And I'm going to show some of this on the other slides. And so the benefits depend on the audience that's using it, and there are three broad audience members. So the first one is internal staff. And here we are looking at efficiency and automation. So when we looked at demos for these solutions, and what they provide is the ability to drag and drop items, whether it's a Word file or a spreadsheet, into the system. And then with a single click, it brings it together into a PDF or an HTML file that can be uploaded. And then, as I said before, there is a workflow that's built in. So let's say someone submits a staff report, someone can review it, and then someone can post it. So it kind of streamlines that process. The other big users are the residents, and for them, I won't go through all these features, but again, a single page for all meeting content, the ability to send email notifications. So there's like an email blast that can go out to everyone who wants to get notified. You can see those systems on a mobile phone. Then there's a side-by-side. You can see the agenda and the video display right next to each other. And then there are other features that I think I'll just show you what the end product looks like, so you'll see for yourself. And then the third audience, which modern solutions provide, is the board itself. Now, one of the solutions, Civic Plus, has the ability for the board to log in, look at the agenda, and take notes for meetings and such. And I thought that was a neat functionality because that's something that stays with you, and you can also search, previous meetings and whatnot. So those are some of the benefits. What we did was we wanted to go to the public agencies that are using these solutions and see what they look like. So these are some of the agencies, and let's see if I can switch back into my screen sharing mode.
You could add the county to that Granicus.
Okay.
Not that we're a water agency, but that's
Right.
Emory County uses Granicus.
It's a dilemma at public agencies. It's just getting all the things together and how to review and move the items around. Yeah.
So I want to share my screen.
Granicus, you said.
Granicus.
Granicus, yeah. So this is how our web page content looks like. This is the financing committee meeting, this is the board meeting, and this is Granicus's web page. You can see how everything's kind of neatly organized into different rows. If you go down, it's grouped by the type of meeting and the year. So,
Are you on your back end?
no, this is the front end. This is the front end. Just to show how the front end looks like. So this is Granicus. Again, Granicus similar. Here, they've embedded their solution into a web page. Here, they have a standalone web page. This is Civic Plus. I think their functionality is you can actually select a group of meetings based on, a date from to date, and just have those meetings show up on the right. And so you see the agenda, then there's this icon for the reader, and you can also download the agenda. And yeah, this is what it looks like when you click on a Civic Plus meeting page. Again, it's the organization seems better than what we have currently for sure. And then the fourth one is Streamline, and we will be meeting with them next Friday. So this Friday. And this is what their web page looks like. And we will try to get an idea of what their functionality is. So that gives you a preliminary flavor of what the solutions provide at the front end. Obviously, we can't go into the back end because then we would need to go through a full-fledged demo. The downside to having this is once you get a solution, you kind of logged in to have the solution for multiple years. And it's hard to kind of move from one solution provider to another because they will have all your agendas and your video files and whatnot. Plus, we'll have to transfer our existing documents, over the years into whatever this new provider is. So there's a long-term cost associated with this, but again, it will help us with efficiency, automation, and just streamlining the whole process. And then obviously the kind of look and feel that you get, the kind of interaction that the public might be able to engage in is going to be different. So this is just a report. We can continue looking into this, or we can get any preliminary comments that you might have, or we can pause and come back to this process at a later time. This is more informational at this stage.
If I could just make a comment that I'm glad you're looking into this. When I don't have it printed in front of me and I'm working from my iPad, it feels very old school to download the PDF and then put it into like a reader, like my books app or something like that. And then I can flip through it and highlight and do all that stuff and save it. But then I write notes in a way that's very like a little note box, and then I don't know where to find it. So the benefit of any one of these as a board member would be that you can just type your notes right up there. You can highlight, you can email your notes, and you can email your one item to a teammate or something. I mean, whatever it is, like it's any one of these would be far more functional, I'm sure, for the board member.
Mm-hmm. And Sarah, does this excite you to not have to do all of this?
Well, the next challenge would be getting all of is on board.
Yes. But even if they don't, still, I don't think, I don't know that all the other board members use it the way that I do necessarily. I'm not sure, because we have at our desk an iPad, and it's so functional that I type my notes up on the iPad in Granicus, and I get to the board meeting. This finally synced. It hasn't all year until this month. On my iPad, on the desk is the notes that I typed into my iPad on the Granicus, and they're there for me. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, as a board member, I love the idea of going paperless. The way you do. This is a lot of time and energy.
I just, my perspective is just kind of getting on board where other agencies are, but just kind of getting there up to speed and not have to play catch up.
Yeah.
Things change for us and we go a different direction, and at least we're ahead of the game and not where we start mode.
Yeah.
So that's what it looks like.
3 board members that are kind of excited about it.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm very much to the printouts. I want to help.
How has the county been on Magus?
It was on Granicus when I was working with Mary in 2016.
Mm-hmm. So how do you take notes now? I want to go back up. I tried to get, educated, but you were hitting leather-headed person. I never get tied into the what was called a laptop, but iPad. So I was trying to go through trying to do it. I remember when Molly Evans was here, she said, I love it. It's like you, let's get rid of the paper about so and so. So I remember the district bought, I think, iPads for the whole board at that time. I don't know if any more than one person was using them. I don't know who ever came around. I don't know who ever came around.
Yeah.
It was minimal.
It's just consistent with what they were trying to do before, right? I mean, just get everything online and reduce paper, but also make it a little easier to put things together.
Well, I think the functionality was different now that we're looking at. And if there is like a portal just for board members and then another portal for staff, that would be helpful.
Yeah, the thing I have with Granicus on the iPad, it's an app. The public does not have that.
Right.
This is just for board members, and their staff could probably get the app as well.
Right.
I'm the only one in my office though that uses it, so it still has it. But if you took the time with the board members to train them, it would make your life easier. It's just, I talk my notes into it. I press a button and then I just say what I want it to say, and then I stop. And then it's on the dais when I get there.
How does it translate the dog barking?
Don't know.
But my dog has something to say.
It's just things that are changing too, you know, behind the scenes and compliance and laws. And so when we went to the clerk conference recently, it was like, okay, there's a lot of things coming down the pipe and we should get on board.
And let me be clear, George, to you, but like when I have an important staff report that I've done all that and I've written these notes, it's not it's not for me good enough to have it on the iPad. Then I press email to myself. I email that staff report. I print the whole thing out and I put it on a monitor. So because I don't want to be reading from doing this or scrolling. I know that's an important item. I want that staff said and what I said right there in the binder for me when I sit on the dais.
Well, like, could you just maybe copy a page with your note on it as opposed to the whole document?
But I take my pen and write about what staff said, right? You want to have the staff report. So you can do it. I mean, for water management district, they don't necessarily need to do that. I just read it, right? Not that it's not important, but it's not as consequential. You know?
Well, I'm doing, I'm so attached to paper and I make notes all the time. You know, I mean, I even a few times, whatever, what's this or whatever. Then I just fold down a page and that's how I find it quickly. But anyway, I'm all in favor. I am a 3.
Yeah.
And the degree of adoption can vary depending on the board member, and that's okay. I prefer paper from time to time, but then I can also switch back to the online version if need. And so it's good to know that there's consensus, and it looks like the world is moving into this direction, and it's going to be the next version is going to be some AI to future. Some of you
Don't say that.
well, that's just right out the mission.
So with this system, how would the public, I mean, it would be online, so they can get access to the same material and so on. It's just a little easier. It's organized different.
Download the whole PDF right now of the agenda. They can either do the agenda simple or the agenda packet, right?
It's all one document. It's all one.
So
It's in 2 different versions. I created HTML, which is kind of you can go toggle back and forth. If you're on item 4, you can go back to the agenda, or to 5, you can jump around easily. That's how I see it. The PDF is just like one large document. And you have to know how to be familiar with bookmarks, how to look for your item. So it's a little different. And then on the mobile device too, it's the other challenge is that you want, your versions to be for persons that just use their cell phone like Dave. And that's, and go to a meeting to easily navigate on your phone. So those are the pieces that we're looking at.
Excellent.
And then we brought up the part about ADA accessibility.
Yeah.
There's some compliance requirements that
Right. Translation on the fly
looks
and having a reader available, those kind of things that we don't currently have.
Right.
And then your documents being in compliance.
got it.
Which is something we need to work on as well.
So on this point, I think it's on this point, but I'd like to just share with everybody in the room for a minute. Excuse me. I wrote a 1-page memo, full 1-page memo to Mike and to Dave about the strategic planning session coming up. My main issue was that I think our board needs to be a little more preparing itself for big time. And I'm just assuming the court cases are going to go our way, that the schedule doesn't, but the outcomes look good generally. And it looks like maybe in the next year, or at least in the following year, we'll probably be into the dynamics of buying or whatever the next steps are. So I think we're still a year away. But what I want the strategic planning process to include is how do we strengthen ourselves? And this is a piece of it.
Right.
How do we strengthen ourselves to be a little more modern, maybe? Prepared, more prepared for big time decisions as opposed to smaller time decisions. So, you know, if we have a discussion on 2 trucks, we may at some point be talking about a few trucks. I mean, it's that kind of scale. It's just the scale's going to go. I mean, we're going to go, but the scale is going to enlarge. And how do we prepare ourselves for that? And I think this is a step in the right direction.
Yeah.
So now back to my question. How prepared might you be in making some kind of presentation at the strategic planning? Isn't that scheduled now? And is it February?
It's March 6th.
March.
I believe it's 6, yeah.
I'm just trying to get this subject matter and tied to the strategic planning.
Might not be a bad idea to put that on the agenda. For the,
Would you like, recommendation on whether to move forward with this item by that time? Just look like, demonstrations or what's available, or?
Well, the board members, how much of it should be involved in all the mechanical side of it in order to decide to go forward? I don't think we need that detail, but for purposes, we need to have a little more detail.
Mhm.
And so I don't know what you recommend about going forward and so on. I just hope we can have some discussion of this type of kind of updating our skill set.
Oh, I see, yeah.
And data management or issue management.
Mhm.
And if this is all related to that, then I think it is related.
It was how many, developing strategic priorities and how this feeds into an overarching strategic priority. We could look into that and come back to something.
having done data migrations before, you're in for a real treat on that. And it's not a push a button and it magically happens. It's
Right, we've been to it a couple times.
it's over chocolates.
Yeah, I agree. I think it would be a good discussion for the board as a whole. It's different questions and different perspectives.
And I would hope before March, you have made a decision as to which one you want and what the steps are to move forward with that. Because you don't want to be doing data migration in the middle of us going big, you know.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to have that happen before. The chair.
Yeah, well, the time frame here is just pretty much up in the air.
Yeah.
There is an implementation phase that can last up to 6 months.
Yeah.
And so working out the details, that would be part of the whatever solution, we may decide to go with eventually.
You've got 3 of the board members that are excited for it. Any other?
So just on that point, so what are the next steps that you're recommending?
Well, the next steps would actually be to narrow down and come up with an item that goes to the committee or the board, like an action item of some sorts. And so we once we get to see this 4th provider, then we might be in a better place to narrow down.
Mhm.
And since this is less than 25,000 per year, we don't need a formal RFP, but we have gone through an informal procurement process. And we will have some kind of a ranking in place that tells the board and the public that the district has objectively come up with or is recommending a certain solution. So that would be the next step, just to bring it back to the FSC and the board as an.
So you can bring it to this committee when you're ready and so on. I just be on that schedule. Yeah.
Okay.
Excellent. Anything else? Any items to add, place on future agendas? None? I think that's it. Yes? Then this meeting is hereby adjourned.
Right. Thank you.
Under an hour.